Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. I'm Biola Labi, and with me is Veronica Adeka.
Welcome.
Nigerian international top model based in Cape Town and New York and an alumni of Tyra Banks' popular America's Next Top Model, Season 12, Aminat Ayinde is here with us today. After a successful modeling career, she's now on the verge of launching her modeling academy in Africa with an initiative for networking, empowering, and educating young ladies and girls in the modeling industry and overall. Welcome to the morning show, Aminat.
Thank you for having me,
I'm
guys.
just excited at the fact that another young woman who is all about empowerment and education and training.
Yes,
I'm just so excited. We need so many more people like you in the world. This is
I love you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited too. It's a great initiative.
So tell me, how did you come up with this initiative and how does it actually work? And what is it called, first of all?
So it's called the 820 Academy, and for me, it's about paying it forward. So there's a lot of young models, I would say, whether aspiring or within the industry, that need guidance. And I didn't have it. So no one kind of gave me the ABCDs, like being on Tyra's show. It's, like for me, it was getting my foot in the door. So what I want to create is a safe haven for girls to feel safe, protected, like somebody has their back and is directing them, and like networking and connecting with the right people within the fashion industry as photographers, makeup artists, because you don't want to be on set and then you don't feel comfortable because the artist doesn't know your skin tone or your color. So having a place where everyone can come together, people who want to, like focus on editing images, not just like Photoshop, but like really creating different types of mediums where you come together in this academy and you have a model, you have a photographer, you have makeup artists, you have artists and creatives who can all come together and really like build your portfolio, and you can walk into this industry with like work, like quality work, to show what you're doing. And obviously there's going to be runway.
Yes.
Obviously.
Is this going to be all online or how?
It's going to start off online, so you could definitely go onto the website, which we'll be launching this week, next week coming up. And you can sign up and you'll get more information about what the 820 Academy is about, how you can sign up, and it'll be in New York, it'll be in Nigeria, and I definitely want, obviously, to have it in South Africa as well, because I'm currently living there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's going to be in 3 cities. That's major.
Yeah, because when it's a digital platform, literally you can kind of like time it where you want to be. So if I'm going to be having, I would say, not just like castings, but like a workshop in a certain country. So let's say I'm in Nigeria, so I'll have a workshop in Nigeria and I'll be here for a few months. Then we can actually see the girls and work with them and actually cultivate what it is that they want to do, because modeling is so broad. And a lot of people think it's like, oh, I want to be a supermodel. I want to be Naomi Campbell. Yeah, me too. I want to be Naomi too. But like,
that's not good. That's not the path for everyone.
Exactly.
And so I want to talk more about that, but I just want to make sure that we understand. So people go and apply on the website. Is there a selection process? Is there a certain amount of people you're looking for from different cities?
Yes, there will be a selection process, which will be curated by me and obviously my management team. But I feel like realistically, starting out, I can only maybe focus on 10 girls in each city, because I want it to be hands-on. I want to like, I've had over a decade of experience in this industry, so I want to pass that on in a way that's going to empower, it's going to encourage you, and also like motivate you to achieve the goal, not just to get numbers and then it's all about quantity and not quality. I want quality rather than the quantity.
Fantastic. So picking up on your experience, you said 10 years of experience.
Yeah.
I watched your cycle when you were on Tyra's show, America's Next Top Model. I was so proud of the way you portrayed yourself, the way you carried yourself, the way you talked about Nigeria. I mean, you were such a positive role model for young women, not only because you were beautiful, but because you were smart and you were not afraid to have intelligent conversations. What was that like, being in an environment like that where almost people didn't even know how to react to you sometimes, and I could see that sometimes you had to continually say to people, this is who I am, and you have to accept me the way I am. What was that like?
That experience was like one of a kind. It's like a pseudo reality being on America's Next Top Model Cycle 12. For me, it was a blessing because I'd never modeled before. So I didn't come in as a established, experienced model. I came in as a biology student with a double minor in chemistry, African American Caribbean Studies, which is a mouthful. You know, so I'm coming in as a nerd, and then I left the show as a sexy nerd who's also a model. You know, not necessarily, you know, the most experienced model in front of the camera, but a model nonetheless, because I faced my fears. I did something that I think a lot of young girls would love to have the opportunity to do and be on a platform like America's Next Top Model and do well. Like I came in top 3, you know.
You were up there.
Someone with no experience.
Zero.
Went in there.
Zero, I promise
You're a
you.
very fast learner.
I'm Nigerian now.
I love the fact that she was intelligent and beautiful, and I think that for me was a game changer, and that's why you were so many people's favorite to win. I mean, I think people. I mean, I think if it was a thing that people could have voted, you would have won. I mean, if it was. So I need to have a word with
God
Tyra.
bless you.
We need to have a word with Tyra.
Tyra, we need to have a word with you, darling.
We need a revote.
Okay? But we didn't have that in our cycle.
No, you didn't. And also, you didn't even have social media in your cycle. So afterwards, it wasn't that you sort of were able to sort of have this social media blowout experience. What was that experience like after the show? What happened after the show?
After the show was really interesting because I feel like after cycle 12 things changed, but before cycle 12 we were like the OG top models, you know what I mean, before the social media and the voting. So like, you know, people didn't really know you unless they watched the show. And obviously the show has millions and millions of, you know, viewers, but it was rough because once you're done with ANTM, that's it. You know, everybody think that, you know, you got the hookup. I can call Ty. Tyra, hey girl, what's good, Ty? No. So it's
I love her. She's like,
you need to figure it out. I had to, you know, pound that pavement in New York City and make it happen for myself. Network, be hungry, like, but also do my research, know what I wanted to do, and I figured like my strongest point at this point was runway. So let me like break into the New York Fashion Week scene, and I did. I did Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week 2009. Big up, and it was with Arise, so shout out to Arise, put your girl on. And from there, I just was shooting. I was, you know, networking with photographers and makeup artists and people within the industry, and it was really hard for me to get management in terms of an agency or people to actually represent your image, your likeness, and your brand. So
why was it so hard for you to get management? Why?
That's a good question.
Why?
A lot of people won't believe that America's Next Top Model can also be like a bad stigma on a professional working model. You know, so they look at you like you did a TV show, boo-boo. You're a TV model, and you have to prove them like, listen, I'm snatched, I know what I'm doing, I'm professional, and you constantly have to prove yourself time and time again that you deserve to be in the same room as a Chanel Iman, you know, at that time, or Jordan Dunn, or Coco Rocha. Like these were the girls that were big, or Naomi Campbell. Like, so you have to be diligent about what you want, what your goal is, and it's a business. So be professional, you're a walking brand, and understand that. And for me, I had to learn all of this on my own. So it was an interesting learning curve.
So that is what we're saying now, that you're able to take all of these things that you've actually learned, and now you're going to use it to fuel the lives of other girls who are going to come into this process. Now, I have to totally agree. And the reason why I was cheering for her when she first came in is because years ago, like years ago when I used to model, it was almost like the same thing. There's so much stigmatization against you, as even from the color of your skin, and even at that,
Talk
like
about
you said,
it.
one of the good points you made was that people get into this thinking that modeling is just, oh, runway. There is so much more to learn. A lot of things, you're beaten down constantly because of your looks. You know, you're judged on your looks. You know, so being able to build that confidence, like you did, to keep going forward and putting yourself forward every time, and still looking for work, and you know, constantly worrying about how your image and how much you weigh, knowing that this is your job. So I think that that's really good. So how are you going to take what you have and really make sure that these girls are learning from you, the ones that you take into your academy, so that they are very, very well prepared for when they go forth?
So for me, it's a hands-on approach. I need to see if you can actually cut it because, like you said, you have to be confident. The modeling industry and the fashion industry is not for the weak-hearted. Like you can be insecure and be like, oh, a no just means not now. You know, it doesn't mean no, just give up. So you have to be diligent, you have to be persistent. So I feel as though I need to know if these girls even have that. You have to have the heart. Because it's not about being pretty. Pretty doesn't cut it. Beyonce said it. Pretty hurts. So the reality is you're not looking for the most beautiful girl. You're looking for that girl who's beautiful from within and it shines through her eyes and her attitude and she knows her angles and can work. So if she wants to be a runway model, I'll guide you on that. If you want to be an editorial model, because you don't need to be so tall, you can still be a little, you know, a little height challenge, as I say, but your face is like godly blessed, you know, it's divine. And you can still do amazing editorial shoot. Or you're a commercial girl and you're the girl next door, like that chocolate friendly girl next door that everybody wants to be friends with. That's where the coins are, honey. You know, TVCs. You make money. Advertorials. You make money. So there's different avenues you can get into. Parts modeling. Some girls have beautiful hands, you know, teeth, hair, like collarbone, your clavicles is popping. Like, there's ways to make money in this industry, and you just have to have somebody there to guide you.
Otherwise,
you know, with the right agency. And that's the thing, placement. So, like, when these girls have been like groomed and they're ready, whether they had agencies before or representation, like placing them with agencies, not just in their cities, outside of their cities, to give them that international experience is so pivotal. And within my career, I've been blessed to know contacts in New York and in Cape Town, Joburg, Nigeria, here, Lagos, I can say. I can speak for Abuja, you know what I mean?
So just a quick question, tapping on that, with the girls that you work with, because there are people that are signed with agencies, and I'm sure maybe you would be able to relate to this. You could be signed with an agency and never get booked or be used for like the first few months. And also, number two, you can be signed with an agency and a lot of your money comes from the agency because they have to train you, but they're not even training you well. So will you also take girls that might be signed with an agency so that you can actually just kind of perfect their skills better and know how that they can now demand things from their booker, who actually has to be able to.
She used to mod. This is her industry.
So you know, like talking to you is just so like I can breathe because you get it. Like, you need to know the business of this industry, especially within your agency, you know, understanding what your percentage are. Like, you're working, you are the person going to the job. So you need to know that how much is your agency taking. If they're taking more than 40% of your money, boo-boo,
it's time.
Let them go. You know, and to have that protection in terms of understanding the financial demands, like you thinking your agency has all of this, like they put it up front, like from your housing to your setting up the
your
shoes, everything,
and they have to deduct all
and it gets deducted.
So by the end of the month, you see your balance, and it's
to be financially smart, to know where your money is going, and then also what I would love and what I think a lot of models need is to have like an accountant sit down with them and talk to them about how to save. Saving, not like hand to mouth type of earning, saving for, you know, the next 5 years. And what we will do at the 820 Academy is 5% of whatever we are charging, you would keep that 5%, and after 5 years, we'll release the funds.
So that would you're almost sort of doing like a benefit fund for them, so like an investment fund.
Like a high interest savings account that's going to pay them. You know, you put your money into it, and then after a while, when you're done, like not when you're done, but 5 years, you can actually see that you saved money. Because I feel like
it's every company has like a pension fund, so it's almost like you're 401k. So you're doing like a forward. I do want to ask you a question. The only reason why, because you're talking about money, and we talked about money at the beginning of the show, which is equal pay for Black women. There was a lot of discussions about that over the week. I wanted to ask you, in modeling, is there a discrepancy between Black models' pay and white models' pay? There's about, I mean, there was some numbers we said earlier.
Of course.
So tell me, I mean, what is that discrepancy like, and were you shocked when you first had that encounter?
No, because the industry, like, there's always
they prepare you for that.
Like, as a Black girl, you already know what you're getting yourself into. You have to work like 3 times to 10 times as much harder, and you're a woman, you're black, and for me, like I grew up as a Nigerian Muslim, so it's like there's all of these factors you have to, you know, consider. So like they're already looking at you like, okay, we already have one of you, we don't really need another.
So the quota.
Yes, the quota, and then also like there is a discrepancy because in the fashion industry there tends to be, you know, this common understanding or acceptance that white girls get paid more, you know, or white models get booked more, you know, compared to black girls, no matter how you're melanated, you know what I mean? So
does that make a difference too, the melanation?
It does. There's colorism. It's so deep. Like we can have a whole nother segment about you know, the racial like disparities within the fashion industry, but you have to fight harder for yourself. You have to talk to your agency and your bookers to push for higher rates. Like real talk, I don't leave my house for castings that I'm just like, you're not even gonna pay my rent. Like, what are we doing? Yes. You know, so you have to know your worth, and that takes time. So in the beginning, you know, you pay your dues, as we say in the industry. You do some tests, some TFPs, and then you build a portfolio, you build experience and demand enough where you can kind of like set your own rates. But there's still that, in my opinion, imbalance between, you know, the top Caucasian models and the top black models. But in 2018, my black girls are thriving.
Yes.
You know, black girl magic is a real thing, and I can see like beautiful chocolate sisters like doing it, from Maiwa, who's a Nigerian model who's killing it in the game, Jordan Dunn, to Winnie Harlow, who's also like gracing covers. Like, we're demanding equal pay, we're demanding equal covers, we're demanding equal opportunities to, you know, be the faces of campaigns. So
as you have seen that change happen, do you think that has to do with a higher level of awareness, social media? How has social media changed the modeling industry?
Social media has changed the game. Biola, like, it's so deep. Like, it's a whole nother revenue source. You know, models can also advertise themselves and put themselves out there to getting jobs that maybe their agencies, yes, they're directing, curating their own content. So they're not just models, they're artistic and creative directors and models. So you're wearing many hats, and I think that social media makes it possible for you to like connect with other people and other creatives.
And also to influence. I think prior to Instagram and social media, the only way to actually get your pay as a model was to be featured in a commercial or a massive runway show. We had to wait for seasons. We have to wait for the covers every month to come out, and then you're struggling with celebrities. You have to wait.
That also happened. I mean, models used to be on the front pages of magazines. Now it's celebrities.
You have to wait for seasons, for Fashion Week to show, or Victoria's Secrets for you to see a model that you like. And nowadays with social media, what it's done is make them influencers. Now you have major campaigns, so you have like H&M, you have like Topshop, you have like Gap. And
we have clout now.
Yeah, exactly. Through the avenues of social media, they're becoming high influencers. And you also then have major brands like Chanel that are inviting them to these dinners and having events around that. Their models can get paid because they're making appearances. So they've leveled themselves up where it's not necessarily through your agencies anymore, but using social media as a platform to kind of create your equal pay.
Yes.
So for people that, so that's so good. So for people that are like, maybe they don't get into the first round of the agency, of the academy, how can they start to use social media to elevate and get themselves out there?
There's so many ways you can use social media, but I personally think that be purposeful about the content that you're putting out. Don't just post to post. Don't be blowing up my timeline with rubbish. Like, let's keep it real, or half-naked images. I think a lot of girls need to respect themselves.
Maybe I should have asked you what they should not do. Let's talk about what shouldn't people do.
I feel as though, especially if you're an aspiring model, like you're trying to be on the come up, don't overexpose yourself. Like, and I say that
don't,
like, with the utmost respect.
We've seen it before.
We've seen it, and also like, you're not a new face anymore. You're not fresh. So like, but also when you do put images out there, make sure that it's images that, you know, you can you can repost, I would say, even a year down the line, and it's work that you're proud of. So even if it's a simple Polaroid of yourself, no makeup, fresh face, you know, against a white background, that's a classic, timeless
image of you with the Nigerian flag that's just timeless. That is, every time I see it, it's like a new image of you.
Is it really?
I think so. I think I've seen it somewhere. Yes.
You know, we go viral these days, and you're not even
viral. Like,
people, and that's another thing. With social media, people can just claim your image and repost it without tagging. So I think it's important to like watermark your images if you're a photographer or a model or makeup artist, that this is your work, so that people know even when they don't give you credit, because it's very difficult to like copyright infringement, you know, any of these images that are going on social media, because it's just so easy for it to just be navigated everywhere. And then I saw my face on a page that was advertising them, and they had like over 200K followers, and they didn't have the audacity to tag your girl. So I'm like, could you kindly tag me? This is my image. Thank you very much. But thank you for the love and support. And I think it's also very important to be positive. Social media can be so ugly, and people can troll you so easily. And you know, like when you're a cute girl or you think you're pretty or whatever the case is, I feel like the audience and the masses have this misconception that you're full of yourself, you're stuck up,
and they feel
you know.
They have the right to try to bring you down.
So you have to break down that wall and be that much more sweeter, like honey, you know, like just be kind. And also understand that people are watching you.
Yes.
People are watching you. You can't be out here thinking you can say whatever you want and it's not gonna come back. Or you can put whatever you want. And one thing my mom and my dad always told me, shout out to mommy and daddy, is once you put it out there, you can't take it back.
You can't take it back.
Whether it's words or images.
It's like an egg. Once it's out, once it's broken.
So the young girls, be mindful of that. Like, yes, you might have a beautiful hourglass body, or, you know, like just respect yourself. If your mother and father have to
we can't let you go. We can't let you go without telling us some things and teaching us some things. Well, you already know these things, but let me learn some things. So teach us like the 3 best ways to always make sure you get a good picture. Like, what are the best? Like, what's the best advice you have for us to always make?
Okay.
I'm already seeing some.
3 best ways to me that I think you can always take the best picture is knowing your angle. Like, I know my good side. This is my good side.
I see you made sure you're sitting on the right side.
She's cute too. But she's really,
so that's okay. So there is a side.
Know your side, you know, and I think it's always like know where the lighting is. I feel that challenge on Top Model. So I've learned.
Find the light.
Find your light. And especially for us chocolate sisters and women of color, where you have melanin, the light is always your friend. So like, find your light, know your angles, and also smile. It's the most attractive quality in a woman.
It changes everything.
So it's either you doing this or you're doing, you know what I mean? Where you have that smile with your eyes.
Smile with your eyes.
So how you do that is you smile, right? Like, now close the mouth, and the eyes are still smiling.
All right, we're going to do that as we go on break. But before we go, how can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Top Model Amina with a T at the end. No, I don't pronounce Aminat. It's not Aminat. Top Model Amina. And I'm on Twitter, but I don't tweet. I need to do better. But Lord knows I'm long-winded, so 40 characters, it's problematic.
Definitely. I'm sure that everyone who's watching at home is writing it down. They're definitely going to follow you. Thank you so very much for coming.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
We're going to smize out
as we go on a
break.
and then we'll be right back. Stay tuned.